Hello, hi, look, I think I look like, am I a 1980s art student? Hey, I was a 1980s art student. You know what, last week I totally freaked out. I want to talk to you about that, and I want to tell you how I felt better, how I fixed myself. Yeah, I'm cured. I'm cured. Arlene, autistic, ADHD, late diagnosed. Here I am in my studio trying to figure out what it all means. Last week I did a video where I freaked out. I've been doing this series on reframing childhood experiences because that's part of what happens when you find out that you've been autistic and ADHD your whole life and you didn't know. You start looking, it's called the grieving process. Grief, life is full of grief. Yeah, hi, isn't that cheerful? Well, it is. I mean, change is happening all the time, and we move through it by grieving, even if we don't want to call it that. I don't know, that's how it goes. Anyway, last week, what happened? I'm going to tell you about that. I'm going to tell you a story, and I think I'm going to call it Dance Beaver Dance. Which kind, I don't know, it doesn't, well, it's very poetic, isn't it? Dance, Beaver, dance. But you got to imagine it like it's being yelled by rich people on a fancy boat to a person in a beaver costume. And that person is me. All right, let's just get it out of the way. Last week, I had a meltdown, and I shared it with you for science, because science is helpful. I was highly dysregulated. Yeah, it was rough. I had a rough couple of days. Because I had a meltdown, some feelings came out. And those feelings informed me of how I was feeling. Because of, that thing where interception, I don't know how I feel inside. Do you know how you feel inside? You know, a part of your body hurts, or you hurt a part of your body, or that emotionally you're upset. Like, do you always know that? I don't always know that. Or I do know it, but I don't know what it is. Long time ago, I swapped mad for sad. So instead of getting angry, I could get sad, because that was actually the next thing that would happen. If I got angry, if I basically tried to stand up for myself in some respect, I would get smacked down, and then I would be really sad. So I guess just cut out the middleman. I would go straight to sad. But when you grow up and are supposed to have things like boundaries, and people cross them, sometimes you get mad. Sometimes you're supposed to get mad. Sometimes I'm supposed to get mad to reassert that boundary. And I think that's what was happening then. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling appreciated. And I felt like I was supposed to be doing things that I didn't want to do. And it made me mad. And I told my people about it. And you know what happened? Everybody apologized. And everything is fine now. So now all the labor in our household is split evenly. And I will never again feel like I am overwhelmed with tasks. It is a fantasy. And we are living in a world of fantasy. We are living in a world of fantasy. Not good fantasy like up in my head, where, up in our heads where we can imagine good things happening. And there are times, yeah, bad things are happening up in my head and up in our heads. And we really got to reel those back in and try to stop them. We live in this strange world of fan fiction. What was I talking about? I was talking about, how did I get out of my meltdown? Well, I had to take care of myself. I had to sleep. Well, I didn't really sleep. I had to rest. I had to rest. I had to drink lots of water, blah, 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 blah. But really what I did was I started stimming. And what stimming did I do that made me feel better? Ironically, it was something to do with the house and labor in the house. But I organized. I really wanted to organize. I like to organize. I like putting things where they want to be. I get to organize my spices. Yeah. But then I gave myself a headache by sniffing all the spices. But still, I organized them, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad I did it. I feel like I'm productive. Yeah, it meant a little bit of spice decluttering, which, as you know, in our modern world can really slow you down. Are you being slowed down by too many spices in your spice collection? By spice declutter today. Thank you very much for your nice comment about my lighting. And thank you very much for your very supportive comments. What a community, eh? Community is the best. Thank you. Thank you so much. Unmasking is hard. Do it in little bits. Do it here. Learn what it is to be a late diagnosed person. It is just really good to know that I'm not alone. And I want to tell you this story. And this is okay. Nothing bad happens in this story. I just want to tell you ahead of time because if you've been here, if you've heard some of my stories, you know that there's a little bit of trauma. And if you're a late diagnosed person, you probably have some trauma too. But this is not a trauma story. This is a funny story. I think this is a hilarious story. Here it goes. This is how it goes. Picture this. Beep, 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 beep. The street sounds, the clopping of horse hooves and carriages and extra. I think it's the Tulip Festival in Ottawa, which is where I was a teenager. And I was working at Beaver Lumber. That's a home renovation store back in the old days when so early back then, those home renovation stores, that the lumber was actually trees. And it was owned by this big Canadian family who also make beer. So I don't want to name them because they might own this. There's this big event that happens on the Rideau Canal. And don't ask me where it goes and why it goes because I've got a problem with direction. I've talked about it before and I don't know. And that's kind of the point of the story. It's the time of year when it's starting to get hot, but it's cool in the mornings. And I have been asked by people at Beaver Lumber, where I work on the cash, if I would like to go to the this Tulip Festival and represent Beaver Lumber, wear some Beaver Lumber merchandise, and ride on this nice, rich family's big fancy boat and wave at people. And here's the clincher. I'm getting 2 tickets to James Bond's A View to a Kill. So I'm like, yeah.
I'll do it.
The manager drives me to some kind of wharf area. And he hands me this huge, big duffel bag. Really heavy. It's a really heavy costume. Really furry. It's big. And there's a giant head. I don't know. Can you picture it? Okay, it's in my mind because I'm a visual thinker. I'm going to see if I can shoot it out to you. This is what I kind of look like. Okay, ready? Okay, can you picture it now? Can you picture it now? I am in this suit, already getting hot, and I have worn too many clothes. So, smart. I strip down and I give my manager most of my clothes. So, really, under this furry beaver suit, I'm in my bra and underwear and socks. And I put my clothes in the bag and I give them to the manager and he does something with it. And then I meet the people on the boat and they're not nice at all. They're really not nice. They tell me that I'm to stand at the front of the boat. What is it? The bow? Maybe? I don't know what that is. The aft, the fore, the hole in one. You know, the king of the world position. Okay. And the boat takes off. Okay, great. And I am supposed to wave. There are people along the canal. They're waving. There's a little bit of celebrity happening, and I'm liking that part. And I'm supposed to dance. So I dance. People behind me on the boat are yelling at me,
"Dance, Beaver, dance."
I should be making bigger movements. It's getting really hot. So I turn at one point.
Can I get something to drink?
No.
No, I can't get anything to drink because I would have to take my beaver head off, which I guess would shatter the illusion that a giant beaver is riding a boat and dancing. So, no, they don't give me a drink. they'll give me a drink when we get to the other end. So we get to the other end, and it's a totally other end. It's a completely different place. We're not coming back. There's nobody there. I am a place where I don't know where I am, in a beaver suit, a plastic cup of water, and a beaver head, and bra and underwear. This is a thing. Okay, so this is a really common thing for childhood, and I think it's probably, maybe you identify with this as well. I could never speak up. I often found that I'd be swept along. Swept along. Here, you said yes, so now do this. So now here's the costume, put it on. So now here's this, and so now here's this. And I guess because I thought that I had said yes, that was it. There were no more boundaries. It was just yes. I'll just do this, just do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That there's no limit to my consent. Interesting. As I think about it now, it's kind of like world events right now. So I just start walking because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So, like, I'm probably walking along saying to myself,
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I am so stupid. What am I going to do?
I don't know where I am. That's the whole thing. I get lost all the time and I don't know the name of anything. But I do come across a payphone. Payphones are an old form of telecommunication. Yeah, there were these big metal things in these fun booths. You open up the booth like it's a little closet, and you'd go in and you get the phone, and you could press 0 and call the operator. And I called my home collect. My dad answered. My dad was sleeping. He was on midnights and he was sleeping. So I told him what happened, and he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I don't know where I am. If you just drive in this general direction, you'll find me because I'm the only person in a beaver costume holding a giant beaver head. Nice day. Sound of insects, trees, the occasional car whipping past, the occasional potential rapist driving past,
Hey, baby.
the occasional beaver comment." It did happen. There you go. Dance, beaver, dance. That's that glamorous story of my foray into mascothood. So if somebody asks if you want to be a mascot, you want to get all the information. That's my advice. Over on Patreon. Wait, pause. Cold. Over on Patreon, I'm sorting through these songs that are from pre-burnout in around 2012, 13, 14, around that time. And they're really, I find them really fascinating, and I'm sharing them with people on Patreon, and the comments back are awesome. And the thing I put out this week is so bad. Like, I mean, not bad, but not bad. I mean, like, bad. It's so bad. No, it's a really poor recording, but it's an example of stream of consciousness. It's an example of singing to oneself instead of talking to oneself. It's an example of list making. It's very autistic because I'm talking about simple things, but I describe them in hard ways. For example, I say that I'm getting firewood by making firewood with my teeth. Hey, that's like a beaver. Oh my gosh, it all connects. It all connects. Aren't we amazing? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Aren't I amazing? No, you're amazing. Thank you for being here. If it's of any value to you, please subscribe or share it with someone else or like it or whatever. And I'm going to see you really soon. You take care of yourself, okay? You know, this news, damn it. It's reality. But a lot of us are living in fantasy. But not us. It's kind of hard to when we're autistic because, I don't know, it just is. You take care of yourself. I'm going to take care of myself. Let's take care of some other people. See you soon. Peace. Dancing Beaver. No, wait a minute. Now that no, wait, I think I'm going to call this story Dancing Beaver. Now that I say it out loud, I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it Dance Beaver Dance. No, well, anyway, I don't know. It's about a beaver. All right.